So it's just a really important conversation to have to redefine what strength means to you, what is real strength, and what if strength wasn't about carrying it all? What if it's about knowing when to set something down, to slow down? Welcome to Remix Moments with Martine, where we will remix your mindset one moment at a time. I'm your host, Martine Williams, and I'm here to bring you a quick burst of inspiration, insight, and a fresh spin on your mompreneur journey. In just a few minutes, we'll remix your mindset, energize your day, and keep you moving forward with purpose. Let's dive in to today's moment. Well, hey friends, and welcome back to the show. Today's conversation is tender, and honestly, it's personal. I feel like you're getting up close and personal with me over the last few episodes, but we're talking about today strength and what it really means, and why so many of us feel pressured to be strong all the time, and how we can model a new kind of strength for the next generation. So this one goes out to all my strong ones, all of you that are out there playing the role of the strong one. So the problem with the strength and how we view being strong is it's a kind of a myth that we inherited, right? Growing up, I watched, and maybe you watched, the women in your life carry impossible loads and call it strength. And maybe you did too. And I mean, in this season that I'm in with my mother-in-law, like we've been having some conversations, and as she is navigating this season, she has made reference to her mom several times and how she saw her mom struggle and how she saw her mom, which is again commendable, but at the same time, there were things that she picked up from that are not serving her well in this season. So, strength looked like the women that I have watched carry it is holding the family together no matter what. Right? Just being the one, the glue, right? We say that's the glue that holds everything together. You're the glue that holds everything together. Strength also looked like never slowing down or showing weakness. I think that was one that was really modeled pretty strongly for my mother-in-law. And so now that she's physically not able to do the things that she used to do, that slowing down part is hard for her. And rightfully so. And showing weakness, it's like she never saw her mom show weakness. And then strength also can look like putting everyone else's needs before your own. It's another thing that's been well modeled over generations as women. People please, put everyone else's needs before their own. It's like we've, again, kind of worn this badge of honor of being able to care for everyone else, but not caring for ourselves. So I don't know if you've picked up on that, or if you have seen women in your life carry those impossible loads and call it strength in that way, but I know I have. And listen, I honor those women deeply. Their resilience and their sacrifice also shaped us, but it also taught us something dangerous, that strength means silence, like staying stoic and self-sufficiency. Like I can do all this all on my own. I don't need anybody's help, or I don't want to ask for help because that shows a weakness. And the result, a lot of us are running our businesses and raising our families and living lives where we feel like if we ever slow down, break down, or admit that we need help, that we've failed. And I'm really kind of thankful for where we're going in these new generations. And I think there's so much more awareness around the problem with actually believing that way and operating that way. So the things that we learned, that we picked up, and this is, again, I'm not blaming anybody's parents or anybody's grandparents, but we did have an experience, right? So not placing blame, they probably did what was modeled for them, and then that their parents modeled what was modeled, did what was modeled for them. So it's one of those things that we experience. There's no blame there. It's just, as a child, you pick up on these things. And we've learned to stuff down emotions and just push through. We've learned to apologize for needing rest and not seeing rest as really a productive thing for you as the greatest asset to your family and to yourself. and then comparing ourselves to the highlight reels of other women and believe we should be able to handle it all. There's so many of us. I was just having a conversation with a client of mine who went to a business mastermind with her previous coach. And she was like, I walked into the room and I felt like I was going to be like the lowest one on the totem pole. And she's been really intentional about creating some family rhythms and self-care rhythms and all the things. And she said, I walked into this room and I realized all of the success these women had, like there was so much personal sacrifice and family sacrifice, and they were miserable. Right. And so you don't see that on social media. You see successful people on social media and you think, oh, they have it all together. But behind the scenes, I guarantee you there are more, especially women in entrepreneurship, who have the highlight reel, but behind the scenes, they don't know how to get out of the hamster wheel that they're on. They don't know how to get out of the hustle culture because they're surrounded by it. And they don't have anyone advising or telling them there's a different way, there's a better way. And so it just keeps them stuck in it. And I think when life throws a curveball like my family has been given in such a short amount of time, it does have you question what's really important. And it's interesting as I'm looking on social media and I'm seeing these people, right, that I have looked up to and like the things that they're doing. And it's just like, I'm just not interested. I'm just not interested in that. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't even mean it's wrong for the women that my client was in that mastermind with, if that's what they're desiring. But she's like, that's not what I'm seeing on their faces. And that's not what I want. And there's a lot of courage in going against the grain, or there's a lot of courage in deciding that I'm going to build it differently, that I'm going to build in a way that honors me, my health, my family, my priorities. And I'm not just going to get on the hamster wheel of entrepreneurship that is modeled in a highlight reel type of way and think that I'm just going to be able to handle it all. So those are some of the things that we've learned. But here's the truth. That kind of strength isn't sustainable. Stuffing down your emotions and pushing through is not sustainable. Apologizing for needing rest, like it's not sustainable. You are going to burn out physically if you're not honoring rest and mental rest as well. And then comparing yourself to the highlight reels of other women and believing you should just be able to handle it all. Like it's just not sustainable. And it keeps you isolated. It keeps you feeling exhausted and oftentimes resentful. Like you can be building a business that you start resenting because you're like, I built this business to have more freedom and flexibility, yet you feel like you have the golden handcuffs around. And so it's just a really important conversation to have, to redefine what strength means to you, what is real strength, and what if strength wasn't about carrying it all? What if it's about knowing when to set something down, to slow down? And that was a conversation I was having with my client yesterday. So she has one of the things on the pro scan that we talk about is your capacity, basically your energy level. And she has one of the biggest ones that the pro scan measures. And so she's able to do lots of things at the same time. So she has a large capacity. And right now, she's just feeling like she needs to slow down and prioritize certain things. And that feels very awkward to someone who's used to going and doing lots of different things at different times. She also has high dominance in her personality. So she's used to being and really thrives on taking charge. And right now she's like, I'm really just feeling called to be in a place of surrendering my business, surrendering my time, all of those things. And so that is strength. That takes energy for her to do what her body is telling her physically and mentally. Her body is telling her to do this, which goes against how she's naturally wired. But her body is telling you now is not the time to push through. It's a time for surrender. It's a time for setting some things down. So what if we redefine strength in that way? That doesn't mean we aren't still hard workers. It doesn't mean we don't still run our businesses. It doesn't mean that we don't still do some of the things that we do as moms. But the strength that we have believed for so many years of not allowing ourselves to have a human experience in our emotional world and just stuffing it down and pushing through is creating a lot of sicknesses. I mean, your body keeps score. It's keeping score of that. Some of the bodily pain that a lot of people are experiencing is not because they have an injury. It's because they're not dealing with their emotions. We're not taking the time to be strong and allow ourselves to feel the things that we need to feel. And listen, this has been, I feel like, the season that the Lord has been working on me for a really long time, because I am a performer and I am an achiever and I am someone who knows how to fix, and I'm learning how to feel. And that may sound really awkward, but if you're a thinker, a really heady person like me, you get it. You get it. So I can speak to this now because it's what I've been working through. And I'm so thankful because now, with the situation that's going on right now, if I wasn't allowing myself and didn't see it as strength to feel all the feelings, then I would just be stuffing and pushing them down and probably become really sick. Hey friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure. It's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
Martine is probably the most versatile coach out there. She meets you where you are, whether it's personal or professional challenges, mindset, ideas, brainstorming, or digging into business analytics. She's so relatable and accepting that I truly believe she could help almost anyone.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martinewilliams.com with 3 times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show. So, from a faith perspective, Scripture tells us that God's power is made perfect in our weakness. That means that strength isn't about pretending we don't have limits. It's about letting God and others meet us in those limits. Even for my client who has the highest energy level that the pros can measure, she still has limits. So strength is admitting that this is heavy. It's admitting that this is heavy. And I've said this multiple times in the last couple episodes. Like, I feel like that's what I constantly am saying is this is hard. And allowing myself just to sit in the hard and not try to fix it. It does feel like strength that I'm willing to admit that and sit in it and not try to immediately fix it or avoid it or stuff it down. Strength is inviting others to share the load. We are doing that on multiple levels right now. We've had friends bring meals. We've had friends send just messages. We have called in hospice probably earlier than most people do because we need that support, not only as the caregivers, but she needs that support in managing her pain and answering her questions and just having the support. I mean, hospice is just a godsend. So inviting others to share the load is strength. It's not weakness. And if I could stand on the mountaintop and really shout that out to every one of you who are you're labeling yourself as the strong person. It takes strength to invite others in to share the load with you. And it's courageous to do that. And it makes the difference. It makes all the difference in the world. And then strength is also resting in the truth that you don't have to do it all to be valuable or worthy, right? I'm not able to do it all at the same time. Yes, I can experience a lot of different things, but not all at the same time. And none of that defines my value or my worth. So just resting in that truth, because if you have the belief that your value and your worth is tied to your productivity and you have a season like I'm in right now, your value and worthiness goes down. So really think about, am I resting in the truth that I don't have to do it all, and labeling myself as Miss Dependable and the strong one? How's that working for you? How can you rest in the truth that you're valuable and you're worthy no matter what you perform or whatever you produce? That will free you up to make that difference. So 3 ways to redefine this strength that I'm not learning, but maybe I might be learning, but also just kind of leaning more into in the season, is naming the weight. So instead of saying I'm fine and faking fine, as my friend Dana has said here on the podcast, practice saying this is hard. Naming it out loud takes away the shame and opens the door for the support. So I was talking to a client yesterday about naming is taming, right? Naming the weight, naming the emotion tames the emotion. But if we just try to get busy and avoid and all the things, what we resist persists. So instead of saying, I'm fine, practice saying, this is hard, or I'm feeling anxious, or this is a challenging season. Just naming out loud, there's freedom in just that. And it takes away that shame and opens that door for support. When people hear you say, this is hard, I think it also gives permission for them to say, yeah, and I'm going through a hard season too. But if we're all wearing a mask and we're all faking fine, like, how is that helping anybody? It's really not. The second way to redefine strength is sharing the load. Whether it's asking your kids to help more with the chores, telling a friend that you need prayer, or outsourcing something in your business, like true strength is letting others in. And I was sharing with my mastermind group that I'm in that I've been pretty absent in. Yesterday, we do revenue reporting every month in this mastermind, and August was my lowest revenue month in 2 years. And I was just sharing with them, but I'm not bothered by it because the numbers that I am counting right now are the days that I have left with my mother-in-law, and that's what matters right now. And I was just kind of sharing some things that, that I've gone through over the last 3 rounds of being in this mastermind. And one of the girls who's been with me all 3 rounds said, it really made me sad to read that you've been going through all these things and you've coached me and I've coached you, and I had no idea that you were struggling with these things. And letting people in is hard for the strong ones. And I would consider myself one who defined myself as a really strong person. And even in letting people in now, I say, like, I really think I'm a strong person, but this is hard. So I'm like saying both things. This is hard and I am strong. But true strength is letting others in so that they can connect with you, so they can help you, so they can help you carry the load. And then the third way is to kind of redefine strength is just modeling a different way. Your kids, your team, your community, they're all watching. And especially her kids, it's caught, not taught, right? They're watching. And I was sharing that with my client yesterday, who's a mom, she's getting ready to have her 3rd baby. And I said, this work that we're doing together and you learning how to feel your emotions without fixing and to manage your thoughts is invaluable, because you're going to be able to teach your kids and model that for your kids and model that for your clients and model that for your community, because they are watching. And if all they see is everything is great and mom doesn't struggle and mom doesn't have a bad day because you're trying to protect them, it's really hurting them more. And that's where, again, the generation of holding it all together and being strong, for a lot of us, that's what we saw. And so we don't have the skill set of admitting that we're having a hard day or what that looks like to process that. And you modeling a different way is strength. And what if the most powerful legacy you left was showing them that strength isn't about perfection, but about permission to rest, permission to ask for help, permission to lean on God's strength. I mean, my kids watching us navigate this season is really powerful. And, for me to be open and honest, and even my mother-in-law to be vulnerable and open and honest about her struggle, and my boys being able to see that. I mean, it's just what a lesson and a legacy she's leaving them to show vulnerability in that way. So the results of kind of redefining what strength looks like is freedom for you and for them. When you redefine strength, you stop performing and you start living authentically. It's a whole nother level of freedom when you stop performing and just start living authentically with all the emotions. You cultivate deeper relationships because you're not hiding behind "I'm fine," right? I feel like my husband and I have had deeper connection through this struggle. I feel like my kids, definitely a deeper connection because no one's hiding behind the "I'm fine." There's just really no way in this season to do that. You break the generational cycle of silent suffering and show the next generation a healthier, more hopeful way. There are a lot of people who are silently suffering in the name of strength, in the name of what they have learned or what they saw modeled for them. So you get to be, maybe you're the one that's going to break that generational cycle of silent suffering and show the next generation how to be healthier in a more hopeful way. And you discover a kind of peace that comes not from proving, but from trusting. What gain do we have by proving that we can hold it all together? How is that strength? And the more I do this work and the more I work with women, that proving energy, you've heard me talk about that before, is exhausting. It's the performance loop that you have a hard time getting out of. And it's what my client experienced when she walked into that mastermind and she saw all these highly successful women who were silently suffering. They were in performance proving mode. Instead of just saying, I don't really love this. This is not really what I want to build, right? They don't know how to get out of it. And one thing I shared with her is that you don't have to have a big empire to have a big impact. You don't have to have a big empire to make a big financial gain for your family either. But that's what's modeled, right? That's what we see when we go on social media. But there's such a peace that comes from not proving and trusting yourself, trusting when your body is telling you to slow down, trusting your body when it's telling you to ask for help. So I just want you to know, friend, that you don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to carry it all, hold it all, or handle it all alone. Real strength is found in surrender. It's found in community and it's found in grace. And that's the kind of strength that actually lasts. So if this resonated with you and you're kind of navigating a season where the weight feels heavy and you're really wanting to kind of redefine strength, I mean, the coaching that I provided is really about that. It's coming back to who you are in your strengths, right? And redefining for you, what does strength look like? And this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. And, right now I'm not doing a ton of clarity calls and I'm not taking on, a heavy load of clients, but I would love to talk with you if this is something that resonated with you. You can book a clarity call. It's completely free. And we can just spend some time talking through it because you were never meant to do this alone. Never. And the quicker you realize that, the quicker the peace is going to come, the quicker you get to redefine the life and the business that you're trying to build and to have the support to do it. So you can go to martinewilliams.com/clarity to book that clarity call. Thank you for allowing me to share all this with you today. And I hope you're enjoying these episodes. I'm actually really enjoying them. It feels really good to be connecting with you on a deeper level by letting you in, which is what I said was really hard for me to do a lot of times. So I'm going to keep producing episodes as much as I can. Thursdays are kind of hit or miss right now with my guests. And we're really just taking it day by day, moment by moment, sometimes minute by minute, because the pain just with my mother-in-law just is ever changing. So appreciate your prayers, appreciate your support, and I will catch you on our next episode. Well, that's it, friends, for this remix moment. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me, and I hope that you are feeling inspired and ready to take on whatever comes your way. Remember, even small moments can lead to big changes. If this moment made a difference, be sure to subscribe, share with your fellow moms, and leave me a quick review. Seriously, it means the world to me to hear from you. And until next time, I am believing in you, and I will catch you in the next moment.